Buenos días, clase. Esto es el video sobre la prueba del capítulo 11. So this is our video about chapter 11 quiz. For each chapter quiz, I'm going to make a video giving you some feedback on the material. And I won't go through all the sections. I'll go through the ones that I thought were most problematic. And if you ever want to have feedback on something that I didn't talk about, by all means let me know and I'll be happy to give you feedback. Or if you don't understand something that I've said in this video, you can as well tell me, and I will try to give you more examples to make it clearer. So I'm just going to kind of scroll through, and comment on some of the things, especially some of the typical errors that we saw. These first couple sections were not problematic generally. The culture, cosas de la salud, listen to each definition and indicate the corresponding term. Also not a big problem. We have a drop-down menu here for this one. You may have had to listen to these more than once, which is perfectly normal, and the more you listen to it, the more you'll understand, but not really problematic there. Same thing here. Just as always, though, make sure you follow their instructions. They say, include the definite article, which is el or la. Some people, where was it here? La mano, so it's la mano, even though it ends in an O. There's some words that end in O are actually feminine, and that's an example, la mano. That got a few people. Okay, but other than that, I don't think there was too many problems. Okay, then complete the following sentences with the most appropriate options. So again, it's pretty much a vocabulary section, and you have a drop-down menu here: los pulmones, la frente, el brazo, el estómago, el tobillo. And as you go through these sections, there's no time limit, and of course you can use your book and everything. So usually the vocabulary sections are not problematic. Okay. So going on to vocabulary, more vocabulary. Okay, and listening, I like to really emphasize the listening activities because I think that that's maybe what's also missing more so in the online classes. So really emphasize the listening section. So you had another one of those. Again, a drop-down menu, and I don't recall this being a problematic section for most people. Now, the grammar was a different story. So, which is normal because we're starting with subjunctive in this semester. And actually, we're going to get more and more uses of the subjunctive as we go through each chapter. I think every chapter has a new use of the subjunctive. We have subjunctive in English, but it's not used very much at all. And in Spanish, it's used continually. And so it's hard for English speakers. This particular paragraph, you had a list of verbs, so you had to choose the verb, and you had to also just decide if it was going to be the infinitive, which is the base form that you see here, or the subjunctive form. And also I will say that some people, I think, still need to go over the basic formation of the subjunctive because you have to have that down as well as understanding the uses. There's two things. There's the forms of the subjunctive, which is really the easy part. It's just sort of memorizing how to do it. But I did notice that some people were having problems with that. And then there's the uses of the subjunctive, which is the tricky part for English speakers. So I'm going to go through and fill in the forms, and then I will try to explain if I feel like it's not clear. So estoy muy estresado. Todos tienen grandes planes para mí y la presión es terrible. Mis padres esperan que yo. All right. So the best one there is going to be sacar, and that form in subjunctive is saque. So my parents hope that I get an A+ in all my classes. So we have here two parts of the sentence. My parents hope that the que introduces the next part of the sentence, a new subject, which in this case is yo. So it's my parents hope that I. So we have a change of subject there, and that's why you need the subjunctive also, because they're hoping. If someone is hoping, wanting, suggesting, recommending that someone else do something, then you need subjunctive in the second part of the sentence, and it has to be introduced with the word que. So mis padres esperan que yo saque una A+ en todas mis clases, etc., etc. And saque so has an irregular spelling in the subjunctive, the QUE. That's to maintain the sound. Sacar, saque, just to maintain that hard C sound. Okay, so por eso tengo que estudiar mucho, pero mi novio prefiere que nosotros a fiestas. So my boyfriend prefers that we something to parties. So what's the best one here? Entender, hacer, sacar, salir probably is the best one, right? So salgamos. Again, we have to change the subject from my boyfriend to us. So my boyfriend prefers that we go to parties. And salgamos is not really an irregular form of salir, but salir in the yo form is salgo. So whenever you have an irregular yo form, you are going to also have irregular forms in the subjunctive. So salgamos. Mi abuelo, que es un gran atleta, siempre dice, es bueno que Malena something mucho para sus clases. So I think this one there's going to be estudie. So it's good that Malena studies a lot for her classes, pero yo le recomiendo que something sports. So let's see here. Probably practicar is the best one. So, yo le recomiendo que practique mucho deporte. I recommend that she play a lot of sports. We probably would say play a lot of sports. And practique, a verb ending in CAR has the same change as you see with sacar. Sacar is a CAR verb spelled saque. Practicar is a CAR verb spelled practique. And again, the change of subject from I to Malena. Yeah. Okay, so that's the change of subject. He recommends that she play sports, right? My boyfriend prefers that we go to parties. My parents hope that I get an A in classes. So there's always that change of subject that requires the subjunctive in the second part of the sentence. Okay, here we have es importante. It's something to have a good, to maintain a good body and mind. Okay, so es importante tener. Here we just need the infinitive because there's no change of subject. It's good to have a healthy body to maintain a healthy mind. There's no change of subject there. It's just in general. And so therefore you just have the base form of the verb, the infinitive, tener in this case. And there's no que. You always need a que to introduce subjunctive. If there's no que in the sentence, you cannot have a subjunctive 99% of the time. There's a few instances, but okay. So in resumen, todos quieren que yo, la mejor estudiante. Everybody wants that I something, so ser probably, so everybody wants me to be the best student. Todos quieren que yo sea la mejor estudiante. This is from the verb ser. Best girlfriend, the best player, and I can't take it anymore. Okay. Es necesario que ellos entiendan. It's necessary that they understand my situation. So the change in subject here from it is necessary that they understand my situation. And then yo deseo bien las cosas, let's see, hacer. So again, here we have just the base form, the infinitive, no subjunctive because there's no change of subject. I want to do the thing, I want to do things well. So there's no change of subject. She's just talking about herself. And there's also, notice there's no que, so you can't have a subjunctive here. I want to do well all things, but I can't be the best in everything. Okay. Anyway, I hope that is useful. Okay. And then, so this one was one you had to write. Okay, so the big problem, this a concerned mother calls Dr. Sanchez's call-in radio program about health. Listen to the caller's concerns and write 5 pieces of advice that Dr. Sanchez might offer her. Use the present subjunctive or the infinitive to complete your sentences. So you can use either one, based on what you see here. But for example, okay, so yo le recomiendo, I recommend that she's, that's going to be a change of subject. I recommend that she's, you have to have a que and then something. Yo recomiendo que tenga cuidado, whatever. But it can't be an infinitive because you're recommending that someone else do something. I recommend that she, that requires subjunctive, right? Now here, es importante, here you can just use an infinitive. Es importante hacer ejercicio. You can just say that, right? Or if you wanted, you could say que haga ejercicio. So the difference is, it's important to exercise, it's important that she exercise. That's the difference there. I mean, it communicates the same thing, but if you use a subjunctive, you have to add that que. But here you can just put the infinitive. Here you can't because you have a change of subject. I recommend that she. That's a change of subject from I to she, so you have to have subjunctive here. Here you can or not, so it's optional. Or here, again, I advise her, same thing. Que, estudie mucho, whatever, but same thing. Change of subject. I advise her. You have to have subjunctive introduced by que. Okay. Es peor. Here, you can just use the infinitive. Es peor salir todos los días. Whatever. There you don't need it because there's no change of subject. You could just use the infinitive. Okay. Finally, I hope. So here you can use either an infinitive or you could use the subjunctive depending on how you write it. Espero entender mejor. Espero que entienda mejor. I hope to understand better. I hope that she understands better would be the difference here with these two sentences. Right? But if you have the subjunctive, you have to have that change of subject from the first part of the sentence to the second part, and you have to have the que to introduce that subjunctive verb. Okay. David has just had knee surgery. The doctor gave him some directions for his recovery. Complete each statement with the appropriate present subjunctive form of the. Okay, so this is easy because it has to be subjunctive. Here, you had a choice, subjunctive or infinitive, as well as here, subjunctive or infinitive, depending on the context. Here, it's all subjunctive, so all you need to do is put in the correct form. Descanses, tomes, prefiero que empieces a hacer ejercicio, necesito que me llames. Quiero que camines, espero que puedas. And a lot of people here had problems with the forms of the subjunctive, and again, I'll say, go back and review how to form the subjunctive, or you can ask me, I can give you some practice with it. It's really, it's fairly simple, again, compared to the uses of the subjunctive. But you do have to get the forms down first. All right, so anyway, so that's that. So going on to the next page. Okay. All right, so then, okay, ojalá is one that always requires subjunctive. It means I hope that. So I hope that they have a good, I hope that you have a good recovery. Okay. Jose will see a new doctor tomorrow. Complete his friend's advice about preparing for the appointment with the appropriate present subjunctives again. So all these are subjunctive. You don't have to worry, think about it at all. Lleves, because it's te. I advise you. Te, so you got to have the two form. Lleves. Okay. Para poder tener una historia médico completa es importante que tus padres y abuelos te digan qué enfermedades hay en la familia. It's important that your parents and grandparents tell you. So the subject here is abuelos y padres tell you what history, what diseases there are in the family. Es necesario que le des al doctor los nombres de las medicinas que tomas. It's necessary that you give to the doctor the names of the medicines that you are taking. Again, it's the to form here, that you give the doctor. Te recomiendo que escribas the sentence. I recommend that you write the sentence. Es importante que hagas ejercicio. Okay. All right. Here we had another drop-down menu, and here you have the sentences already in the subjunctive. All of these, not too many problems here. You may have had to go over them more than once. Check the vocabulary, but that was not a problematic section compared to a lot of the other ones. Okay, so the following people have health issues. Complete the recommendations with the appropriate presence of subjunctive. Same thing. El doctor recomienda que cambie su dieta. The doctor recommends that he change his diet. Es necesario que descanse, that he rests a lot. Sus padres le den un antibiótico, because the subject there is parents, that's why it's den, plural. La médica le dice que beba té con miel. The doctor tells him to drink tea with honey. Es recomendable que sus amigos vayan. That's an irregular one. It's recommendable that your friends go with him to the emergency room. All right. This one was not too bad. You had a multiple choice there, but all of these are going to be subjunctive as well. So there's additional examples in subjunctive. Again, present subjunctive or infinitive. That's going to be similar to the other one. So in the first one here, I'll just tell you this. Me alegro de que tú something mejor. And so sentirse is the best one. Te sientas mejor. I'm glad that you feel better. But again, you get the que is when you need the subjunctive. If you don't have the que, you don't need subjunctive. All right. This one was another one with just the subjunctive forms. And some of these are going to be irregulars. Doler is a stem changer. Duela, pueda, and so on. And then we had another drop-down menu. Okay, well, I hope this was useful. That's pretty much most of the problematic sections. Let me know if it was not, and I will be happy to give you more advice on the subjunctive, more examples as we go forward. Hasta luego.